We'll see.
We will.
We got a blue circle.
Well,
What it was do? I think it's live.
Oh my gosh, are we live?
yep.
Wow, it's 3 o'clock. We're live. Do we have sound? You can hear me?
Yep.
Brett says he can actually hear me. That is amazing. Katie's the camera girl.
We're switching off. Okay.
Yep.
We good.
All right, but we're probably not going to let the camera stay there because I got things to show. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's all right. You can start it out there. Oh, okay. Katie has to be the camera woman.
Multiple hands. Multiple hands.
There we
All
go.
right.
How's your hand strength, Katie?
So far, so good.
All right. We need a tripod, is what we really need.
That's next.
Yeah, we're slowly working our way into this
Well, if
technology.
there's a tripod, then you can't.
I could lift up the whole tripod and bring it with me,
That is.
and
true.
then I could put it back down. All right. Okay, so people coming. Do we have anybody there yet?
We got Nadine Sparks. Hello.
Hello, Nadine.
Hi, Nadine. So glad your coronet's working well again.
Yay! A little note that with long arms, for those of you who have long arms and you don't have a flat back needle, you got to be really careful of making sure that the eye of the needle is dead on straight coming out, or you will get skip stitches, as we just learned today, right? So
That's it.
excellent, good learning.
We might have a little delay on people coming in. So far, I just see Nadine. I'm sure we got more people out there.
All right, should I start?
It says there's 9 people watching. So.
Oh, 9 people! You guys are in your seats early. Thank you.
Now you get adjusted in your seat.
Yes, I have to get adjusted in my seat too.
What are we doing today, Kathy?
Well, what I thought we would do today first is talk about, we applied our binding onto our quilt yesterday, and I thought that you might like to see how you can actually machine stitch it down as well. So some of you probably already do this. A lot of you probably do the hand way, and personally I almost always do the hand version where I hand stitch the back because it does give a better finish. But if you prefer to sew it on your sewing machine, you can, what I would do is actually, instead of sewing it to the front of my quilt, I would sew it to the back of my quilt, and with this quilt it looks exactly the same. So we're now going to call this the back of my quilt where I attached it, and I'm going to bring it around to the front of my quilt and start stitching this way. Are we doing all right over there, guys?
I sure think so. We've got Jill, we got Francis, Naomi.
Hello.
Brett's doing the comments as we're going.
All right. Okay.
We got Donna Garner.
Hi, Donna.
All right.
I miss seeing all you guys in the flesh. Okay. So
this is now.
So now what we're going to do is, actually the first thing I would do is I would see how my binding is still folded in. I actually am going to just press it really quickly.
There she goes.
Yep, this will just take a second. I'm just going to press this corner so you can see. It makes it a lot easier for you to flip it to the front. I'm not going to press the whole thing. Got my iron backwards. But I'm just pushing it out and opening it up. And I'm not going to stitch down the whole part of this, just down one side so you guys can see.
All right.
So here's my quilt, and I would put on my 10D foot or a Stitch in the Ditch foot. It's the one that has the center flange, so they all look a little bit different, but this one has, this is the Bernina, and it's the 10D foot, so it has room for that dual feet in the back, and it has a center flange. What you do with that center flange is we're going to put it right along, let's see if I can get you to see this here. I'm going to put it along my binding, and it's going to ride down the binding so that I can stay really straight against it. I'm going to put this, actually I'm not doing it that way, I lied. I'm going to do it on the other side. I'm going to flip it over this way and have it run along this edge of my binding. So it'll come right along here at the edge of it. When I'm pulling my fabric to this back side, actually it's going to be to the front side because we're now making this the front of my quilt. I'm going to start in the front corner, and I want to get a good miter in that front corner. So the way I do it is I fold it in and I push 45 degrees here. So I want 45 there. So when I come back at the end, this 45 will fold down and it'll make a really nice miter at the very end. So I need to start with it like this. And then just like we stopped sewing yesterday in that corner, and you can see where my seams meet right in that corner, that's where I'm going to start sewing as well. And I'm going to pull my fabric around to the front so that I just cover the seam that I stitched to attach my binding. Does everybody see that? Okay. I'm not used to the class not responding when I ask questions.
Yes,
so
Kathy, we can see it.
all right. Okay, so I'm going to put my narrow edge flange right along this edge, which means I need to move my needle to the right over a couple of clicks because I want my needle to be up on the edge of my binding and my flange to be along the edge of it. So I'm just going to move myself over 2 or 3 positions, and then, Katie, I don't know if you want to come on around over here. Okay, so now I'm going to put my foot down. And I'm just pulling, if you can see, Brett, can you turn that? Turn that so Katie can see. I'm just going to pull my binding just over on top of that seam that I stitched before. And you can see you can go pretty fast down the side. This is where flow really accelerates. I'm just going to keep putting my binding, pulling it just to the other side of that seam that I already stitched. Whoops. I'm going to keep coming down, and I'm going to turn one corner for you, and then I'm going to stop. I'm not going to do the whole thing. You can see I just hold it as I go. And what's so cool about it is back behind, it's getting this perfect edge, this perfect narrow edge stitch, because my needle is up on top of the binding and the flange is just along the edge. I'm going to keep on coming. I'm almost to the end of my first side, and I'll show you to turn a corner, and then we'll move on to a new demo. I'm just holding it as I go down. A lot of sewing.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
I think I came off my edge there. I'm going too fast, sorry. And then I'm going to back up. Yeah, I did. I skipped a little tiny pit, but you can go back and fill in.
You don't normally have a camera zoomed in on your
Yes,
on your
I
sewing.
did skip one little spot right there.
We'll pretend you got it.
Yeah, but then I'm going to rotate, and then when I come back, I have my 45 coming off. I'm going to take my 45 right there. I'm going to fold it down, and I'm going to come, let me push that in a little bit better.
And
Make my
Vicki
45.
Davis is wondering, does the FAF machines have the same foot?
It does. It's called the narrow edge foot or the bi-level foot, and it comes with her icon. It comes with, and then if it doesn't come with it, it's a very popular foot. We sell it with a lot of machines. So can you see that corner? Can they see? They can't see the corner here.
There's a lag on that.
Oh,
They
there's-
can see the corner.
Oh, they can see the corner. Okay, awesome. Katie, you're doing really well of putting it where you
Being
can't
kind
see.
of blind.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's a good point.
All right, then I'm going to just come back in.
Oh wow, I'm centered.
Impressive. There we go. And then come back out of the corner. And we're going to go down the other side. So I'm not going to keep stitching it because you guys got the idea. But this narrow edge foot is really helpful if you want to bring your binding from the back of the quilt to the front of the quilt. And there
Flow
we turn the
approved.
corner. Nice, Flo. I'm glad you approve. All right, so that's finishing up from yesterday. And I have a new technique I want to show you today, but before we do that, I wanted to show you some cute, cute, cute samples that Miss Lisa finished. Look at this.
Happy day.
Isn't that so happy? A little Ferris wheel. So this is from the Kimberbell Boardwalk collection. She also made these 2 adorable tote bags. So here's one. It's got pockets inside.
See the
Oh, I found my other piece of binding.
Oh.
There's one, and here's another one. Aren't they cute?
They are absolutely cute.
They
They're
are.
pretty adorable.
Yes, so this is from the Vintage Boardwalk, the Kimberbell collection. Inside the book, there's the projects for the quilt, but there's also the projects for these cute projects that Lisa did. And right before we closed for this epidemic that we're in right now, we finished up our Kimberbell Boardwalk kit. So we have just a few of those left. A lot of you picked those up before our doors closed, but we do have a few of the Boardwalk kits left, and it includes the pattern, all the fabric and the binding for $94.95. And then a few of you did not get your embellishment kits, but those also have arrived now. They're $34.95. It's all the buttons and the ribbons and everything that you need to finish up your Kimberbell Boardwalk quilt. So if you're looking for both of those things, we do have all that in stock as well as the book. So, I have to show you something that you need to buy because you guys have been keeping us really busy. Our phone rings a lot. Okay, so today's demo was going to be showing you a different way. And look, I have another quilt that we
test tension a lot here.
Hey, this is just another piece cut down from Katie's testing. Because I don't have any time. I should have made a really cute sample and then showed you guys how I would bind it.
In her spare time.
In my spare time. But you would think since we're basically closed that I would have all kinds of time, but Joyce and Katie and I are in the building literally from 9 in the morning till 6 at night. And we only allow calls from 11 to 3 because we're gathering and cutting and organizing all that other time. So we're not getting a lot of personal sewing time done.
And our techs are staying really busy too.
Oh yes, we got, I think at least 8 machines got dropped off this morning. 8 machines. So yeah, the guys are thinking they were going to have some slack time, and it's not happening. So, okay, so what I wanted to show you today is this is a really old technique, and I wish I have a couple quilts at home that I did not bring with me, that I actually use this technique. So if you have a front and a back that are really different, like let's say you have a very pastel front and you wanted to put a wild flora on the back just to make it like a surprise, sometimes it would be fun to have 2 different color bindings. And so what I'm going to show you is a really cool, simple way to get 2 completely different bindings, one on the front and one on the back. So all you need to do is you start with 2-inch strips and 1-inch strips. So whatever you want to show on the front is the 1-inch strip. Is that right, Katie? Is that what we said?
The front is the 1-inch.
Yes. The front is the 1-inch, and the back is the 2-inch. Okay? So you're going to cut a 2-inch strip and a 1-inch strip, and it looks really skinny. And then I just did a half strip. I'm just going to sew them together. So I'll just show you. I already did that. You guys don't need to see me showing them together. Is there a question? What's your question?
Vicky wants to reserve the accessories for the Kimberbell quilt.
Oh,
yes,
excellent.
You got those reserved, Vicky.
Yes, the embellishment kit.
Yep.
Got it. All right.
That's got your name on it.
All right. We do go through all the comments after our Facebook Live because a lot of you and what you're looking for, and I will add it at the end as well. And Vicky, we were going to send you your angler, so we'll just wait. We'll stick this in too. So.
And Barb, you just called, and yes, we have this for you.
And Barb also says who's doing your hair and makeup. You all are looking way too good.
NBC.
When you don't dye your hair, it doesn't matter if you don't get to the hairdresser because it's always gray. Okay, so this, I'm not going to go all the way around this one today. You guys got to watch me do 4 corners yesterday. I'm going to just do 1 corner today. But I wanted to show you that I just sewed my 1-inch strip to my 2-inch strip, just straight down using my 1/4-inch seam allowance. And then I'm going to take it to the iron and I'm going to press it in half. So now it's turned into basically a 2.5-inch strip, right? Because a 1-inch and a 2-inch, when you take a 1/2 inch out for your 1/4-inch seam allowances, turns into a 2.5-inch strip. And then I'm going to just press it down the center. Now, if I needed more binding than just this small little amount that I have here, if I needed more, I would actually sew my black strips together first and my red strips together first, and then do my long seam. And I would do them with the mitered when I join them together. So I'd take my red strip, and I would join it to its other red strip, doing my mitered seam, doing my angler, corner to corner. And I would do the same thing with the black to get my length that I need, and then sew the long strip down the center. Then we're going to press it so it's all color on one side, and it's both colors on the other side.
Is this a math problem?
guys, no math going on. 1 inch and 2 inch. It's not hard.
2 plus 1 is 3 minus a half. 2.5.
That's right. Did you guys get that? 2 plus 1 is 3 minus a quarter inch, and a quarter inch is a half inch. Makes it 2.5 inches.
I
So
guess that's a little bit of math.
That is math.
1 inch and 2 inch. Just remember, the front is 1 inch, the back is 2 inch. Okay. So you sew them together, and then we bring it to our quilt, and we want to put the 1 inch side on the facing, so it's going to face the front of our quilt. Pretend this is the front. And I would go ahead and do my same. I'm going to show you that starting edge again, because I want you guys to remember how to do that. Flo, don't pay attention. To open it up, and then you have to cut it. Oh, this ruler is so long for this little table. Thank you.
Kinman wants to know what's the cost of a cordless iron.
I think the Panasonic is $149, $120. Joyce is going to do a quick check.
Joyce is on it.
We'll get right back to you on that.
Nice
Okay.
45 degrees.
So there's my 45 degrees, and that's how I would start. And I would do that same tail at the beginning. This is a really short side. So I'll just pretend that I'm going to start. I'm going to do a corner here and show you how the corner works. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch. I'm not going to go all the way around this time. Oh, wrong foot. I've got the 10D. I have to take that 10D off. And I just have my 1/4 inch foot on, but I'm still going to use that deeper seam allowance like I did yesterday. But not quite so much deep, because I want to leave that flange on the front. Okay, so I'm going to do my reverse again. And then I'm going to stitch till I get close to the center. Oh my gosh, my bobbin ran out.
No way! No!
So, in Michigan time, $149.95.
$149.95. I have a bobbin right here.
You have one?
I tell you what, there's something about sewing line. It makes it real, right? This is
definitely.
And you know we've done a lot of sewing because
Oh my gosh,
these are
look, wait.
huge bobbins. Look at
Oh yeah, look.
look over that
Look
way.
at my bobbin. This is how much is left.
None!
Look how big that is.
Look at the size of that.
Oh my gosh.
Enormous.
Who would have thought to check my bobbin before we started this video? Okay.
Oh, hi, Annika. Thanks for joining a little late.
All right.
Vicki Davis says we crack her up. That's good. We're glad we're entertainment for you guys, too.
You guys, if I didn't have Miss, I wouldn't know what was going on.
That's right. We just grab it before we start.
They do. These girls, they come back here and they do all kinds of stuff to my sewing room.
Little gremlins.
That's right. All right, here we go. I just can't believe I look at that. I got a whole 2 inches sewn. All right.
All right, let's do that corner.
All right. I've got to come back in. Oh, tell it I have new bobbin. I have bobbin. Okay. I need to oh, I'm hitting the wrong button. Okay, there we go. Oh my gosh. All right. Now, what do? We go straight up and we come straight back down. And I did make a really short piece of bobbin, or a really short piece of binding. And then I'm going to come in again, reverse into my corner, and then keep on sewing. And I'm just going to come see when I turn it. All right, gonna stop. And then this is the magic. So now when I turn my bobbin, look at that. Woo! Is that not cool? When I turn my corner, I get, let me do it this way.
What's happening?
Okay, so I have this. So I'm gonna get this great black on one side. You see it? There's my black side. When and then here, let me flip this down so you guys can see the corner. So there's my corner. Cool.
Very cool.
And then look when I flip it over.
Look how fancy.
Let me make this wider as well.
We don't have kits for this quilt available, unfortunately. I think this was a red dot fabric, if I had to guess.
But there's one side being red and the other side being black, and then your side is where they meet. Isn't that cool? I remember thinking that was so cool. So what's the math again, girls?
2 plus 1 is 3.
There we go.
Plus a quarter, which is a half, equals 2.5 inches.
All right, so my front is my 1 inch, The back is the 2-inch. And when you put it on, the front is against the front.
Hiding the number
It's
one.
hiding the inch, and then when you wrap it, it stays on the front,
It's magic.
and the red goes to the back.
Magical.
That's my demo for today. We're going to do a short and sweet one today.
That was still about 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh! I don't know where time goes when I get on camera. I think it goes to changing the bobbin, unjamming the machine, all that
All
kind of
those
stuff.
things.
Anyway,
Thanks
I
for
love you
joining
guys. Thanks for joining us.